Okay, folks, let's see if we made some progress this time. And hopefully we get some people on here and they can tell me how this is going. But struggling with trying to get this in high def or 1080p. Messed around with it a little bit, and we will see if we're able to do this. So we're just going to go right into it like we normally do. Now, I did get some things in the mail and didn't do an unboxing, nothing terribly exciting about it. I will go over that and, let me know if you guys, I can't see right now. This should be in 1080 now, so hopefully that is the case. If it is, then we've made forward progress. I always want to keep moving forward, so. We got some silicone brushes that we got in, and I got these off of Amazon, and these are for working with green stuff, and basically make things with green stuff and then press them in shape here. I've got some water here handy, and yeah, we might mess with that a little bit. And let's get this in a little bit bigger area where you guys can see what exactly is going on here. All right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put a note on here. Let me know if you can see in 1080p. Okay. Hopefully you can. All right, so we've got that, and we're going to take, this is the figure for the Pope, and we've got some stuff that we need to grind off of him. He's got this hood that's on the back that I really don't want to deal with him, and we're going to try to take some of that off. And I just cleaned up this entire area. You can barely hear me. Okay, well, let's mess with the Microsoft, I'm speaking kind of in a normal voice, so let's go ahead and see if, is that something I can modify here as we speak? Let's see. No. Let's see. How do I do this? How do we do this? Let's try this. No. I did turn it down a little bit so that we didn't have the background noise. Let's see. Where the heck would this? I don't see it accessible on here. I may not be able to change it once I start. Let's see details. All right, let's try something. Let's try. Oh, well, now I have a new option for 1080, so that part apparently worked. Okay, now we just got to figure out the volume. I may have to exit out of here and start another one. I did tone it down on the mixer here. Let's try. Got my volume jacked all the way up. I can tell you're talking, but can't make out a word. Okay, cool. Let me exit out of here and we'll start over and we'll bump that up some. Thanks, Chris. Oh, never mind. I don't have to exit. I found where it is. You can't make out a word. All right, let's see. Let's take out, we don't want desktop audio. Let's see if this is better. Let's see if you can hear me a little bit better now. and you don't have any background noise. Hopefully that is the case. And let me go back in this screen, and total noob here. I'm a painter, not a technology person. So let me know if this sounds better. Now that I can see where that is, I will figure this out. Now that I've got the, it was a pain to try to get my phone tethered through the computer and use it as a camera. But I finally solved that, and I watched a video on how to do it, and they said go in here and check this option, and that option wasn't present, so I had to figure out how to get that option on there. And can you hear me now? Is it good, or does it need to be a little bit louder? I'm speaking kind of in my normal voice, and we can bump that up some. I just don't want to you hear the fan or anything. Let's try to let's see if that's even a little bit better there. So anyhow, so we've got this Pope figure here that we have, and we're going to grind the back of this hood off, because I want to make a I'm a little leery of messing with him, because this is the only figure that I have of this. Okay, we drilled a hole in the top of his head, so we have a point for some green stuff to stick to. And but we do need to grind the back of this. And can hear you, but it still sounds low. Sounds like you're in a chamber. Man, I'm gonna have to mess with that some. I am in a chamber. It's a room, so it sounds worse than before. Let's try this. Let's try. Hopefully there's not much echo. Well, we're just gonna have to get this down. I tried to do my own. Oh, when I face forward, the sound improves. Well, it's exactly the same. All right, let's see. I've got it bumped all the way up. Hopefully it's not picking up like the fan or something really. It shouldn't be picking up. Right, and the camera should be good. We should be charging as we go. I am. All right. Sounds like I'm far away from the mic. Man. I know, I get the resolution right, and then I get the resolution correct, and then then the sound goes to hell. Everything's maxed up at 100%. Okay, well, we'll try to, we'll watch another video maybe tomorrow, and see if we can't get that to improve. And let me go back on my screen here. Okay, so, yeah, let me just face forward. So we've got this figure here. I'm a little leery of grinding on him, considering this is going to be like my first foray into using green stuff. So I've got some other figures here that did not make the cut, but they are technically a guy that could have been Pope. How appropriate, right? Here's one of them. I believe this is a figure from Thistle and Rose, and here's another one of them. I think I have two. So let's try to practice with one of them. And you'll just have to bear with me being a noob here. Let's get, where are these little things that we got? Okay, they've got red backs to them. All right, so these guys, so what we're talking about is taking this part here off, because I don't have a problem with building robes, but I don't want it to be thicker. None of them really wear any kind of hoodie or anything like that. So Picture is much improved. Okay, coming in loud and clear. All right, excellent. Yeah, picture's much improved. Good, we're at 1080. It only took forever to do that. It took a cable modem, which, you know, as I mentioned I did a little test run the other morning, and I couldn't get the configurations just right. But we've been on DSL since at least 20 years, and our speed hadn't improved. So we're finally welcoming to the 21st century. So we're going to take this off and just kind of see how much effort it's going to take this down, because I'm scared of practicing on the one guy that I have, and I always want to leave myself an out. You know, if something happens and things go sideways, which, you know, they happen, and but I cleaned this whole area up, and well, you got better resolution, so let's see if we can do this. I'm already making a mess and moving things out of the way. All right, let's move these guys. I've had these on the table the other day. Here we go. All right, so let's try this again now that we've welcomed into the 21st century. Get these guys out of the way. So this is the Papal Army so far. What order they're in doesn't really matter that much at this point. We're just going to see if you can, because I'm going to watch this video again and see what can be improved. If the sound is something that can be improved or whatever. And this is these guys right here. This is what we've got so far. Come on, you can do it. There we go. You can go this way. Okay, so so far we've got 2 units of spearmen. We've got 2 units of knights. We've got a unit of blade. We've got 1, 2, 3 units of skirmishers, and a solid horde. So that's what we've got so far. And we've got these figures here that we finished the other day. They're not sealed, but this is the guys that are going to be on the papal stand. Of course, you're not going to be able to see them. There we go. And they're going to be 4 of the figures that are on the end. The other guy that I painted on Friday night, he's the brown monk guy kneeling. And this is kind of the sidekick for the Pope that's going to be holding the flag. So I've got to pretty much do the Pope before I decide to do him, because I don't want it to look like he's taking all the Pope's thunder, so to speak. So so yeah. Anyhow, that's this is what it is. So now you can see that a little bit better than it has been available in the past. So. And we have just begun to mess with OBS. There's so many OBS videos, and I'm basically like, let's just go ahead and just start this off, and see as a starting point. We could add other little things there afterwards. So there's tons of videos to do on that. I just wanted to get the phone running tethered USB through the computer. So I finally solved that. So anyhow, so that's where we're at right now. We've got the crossbowmen guys still haven't come in. So as soon as they do, we're going to break off and do them. So we got 2 stands of crossbowmen and the Pope stand basically to do, and we should be all set. So with that said, let's go back to what we were doing here and make sure we have a clue before we go and mess up the one figure that I have. Now this is the round one, which I actually liking a little bit better. Now I have a feeling I want to make sure that I don't accidentally run my hand. It looks like it's working pretty well. Okay, so confidence. Now I had actually ground this guy down using my other file, but I'm going to go ahead and do this because this has got, I think, diamond stuff in it or something like that, and it's really cutting it down a lot faster. So what I want is, I want the stand of this figure to be almost non-existent, because I'm not going to give away too many secrets what I'm going to do, but he is going to be on a little carpet that I'm going to make of green stuff. Okay, and because he's going to be standing on the carpet, I don't want him on a stand that is on the carpet. So I want this to be really, really minimalist. Okay, so let's just grind this down. It's cutting it a lot faster than it was with the other file. I mean, I know there's going to be some kind of a little stand. There's nothing I can do about that. All right, we took about another half of it off that was on there. Oh, it's my favorite song. All right, that's pretty minimalist there. That's pretty minimalist. So let's dump this in the garbage. We don't need this stuff floating around. All right, so let's file this down. You know what? I should do this. Where is? I've got a pair of clippers in here that I use specifically for model stuff, which means they're not good for anything else. We'll see if we can't. No, these are real ones. They shouldn't even be in here. It must be these then. Okay. These might actually be too big. Let's see if we can't take off a larger chunk of something. I should be safe to do whatever chunk I want. Okay, so we just saved ourselves a ton of grinding by doing that. Now the other thing is I don't know where the hell this figure came from. I don't know if this is I have a feeling it might be a Corvus Belli figure that I picked up at a flea market. That may be where this guy came from. So let's see if we can't get in here and I was going to say do some damage, but we really don't want to do that. We do want to reduce this, and it's okay if I cut into his arm accidentally because he's going to have a robe that I'm going to put over this. I think he's fine on the front. It doesn't need to be ground anymore. Probably be okay taking this stuff off. Well, that's good that the resolution worked. We can work on the other stuff. I think that was the difficult thing. I think the rest of this stuff is just going to be a matter of just tinkering on things. If it's just facing the camera, well, that's most of the time. I did have a microphone that I ended up getting a while ago when I had the earlier camera, and it was really good. It was a Rode. It was a Rode microphone, and but it's not compatible with this phone. As soon as you plug it in, it starts making all kinds of really annoying sounds that you do not want to hear. So I haven't been able to use it again since I got the I was able to use it on the Samsung 8 Plus, which is what I had before this one, but it won't work on this camera that I have, so it's just kind of sitting unused. I'm not sure if it'll work with a computer. I have a feeling that it may, and if that's the case, then we'll try hooking it up and seeing if we can't use that as a secondary source. Of course, I think what I'll have to do at that point is mute the audio that's coming through the phone here, and have it go through there. So, all right, let's try to take some of this off. This is more difficult than I would have expected it to be. But if this is an Essex figure, I certainly would be able to cut this stuff down a lot easier because they tend to be a softer alloy. And a lot of the Essex guys that I have, I've had for a long time, or I bought, this is the one I should have been using for the base. I just got these in the mail today, so here we go. So what we're going to end up doing is when we put this guy on the carpet, we'll mold the carpet down, and while it's still wet, we'll push this in here. So we'll end up painting this tiny little bit of his base like the same color of the carpet, so he fits in there. So it's a multi-step process, but all right, let's see if we can take some of this stuff off of his shoulders. And if it becomes too much trouble, we are going to throw stuff over this. Actually, need to jack this thing up. Yeah, we're out of town this weekend, so didn't get much chance to do this hobby stuff. And should have another game video tomorrow night. Won't be live. That's what's really gonna suck. If I'm not it's not gonna be a big incentive to do live things from Mitch's house because I've got to go on a mobile connection, which automatically is gonna dumb down the picture to 720. So, you know, probably not gonna do a whole lot of live stuff when I'm not here at the house. So. This is gonna kind of be a pain in the ass, isn't it? And you know, the thing is the green stuff that I'm going to use doesn't have to be that thick. It's just to cover this thing over. But normally, if the crossbowmen were done, I would go ahead and just do them now. But they're not here yet. I ordered them last time. I ordered something from C&B Miniatures, which is supposedly the U.S. distributor for Essex miniatures. That's what they said, but I didn't get a notice of when they got mailed out, and but they arrived within a week. So the week would have been Friday. So maybe they're behind a couple days. You know, I got half a mind. If I was better at this, you just lop this guy's head and then glue it on later. And then you can get to everything you needed to, right? but the front of his chin is right on that. There's not much on there. Okay. So now it's good. Now I can watch some videos on how to do stuff in OBS, now that I have a clue. Now that the most simple of things was able to be successful, now we can try that. Because frequently I'll be on one of my shows, especially on like Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and I'll talk about, you know, flags, or somebody will ask me a question about, you know, I think we were talking about like some Danish flags or something like that the other day. So I just pulled up the website, and now I can drop it on the feed there and you guys can see what it is. I just don't know how to do that yet, but I have a feeling that after this week I'll be able to, because that's a pretty important thing, you know. 'Cause I don't mind those distractions, you know. People, especially if it's about figures, you know, who makes figures for this or whatever, I dig that stuff up. That's what I like to do, talk figures. Okay. That's working well. Almost having to cut this like I'm trying to cut rock or granite or something like that to build a tunnel. Cut it in little things and it's easier to take it down. So, okay. The only thing I wish this thing had was, and maybe there's a way to do that, is when somebody types something on one of these texts, you guys are typing things to me, if I got some kind of a like audio, like a bing or something like that, so I could at least that point turn around and look at the screen. But that is one of those things that I want to do. I want to take this computer and I want to put it over here to the side so it'll be right there. But now that we got that going, now we can do that. Try doing that next time we film. And what I'm probably going to have to do is I'm going to probably have to mount the arm of the camera. You know, so in other words, take this computer that's here and then just move it off to the side here. You know, off the screen on this side. So we'll just have to mount this arm on the opposite side over here. So we'll try that. And that way I can look at the screen and look at the comments and not have to put my glasses back on to see. So, okay. As long as we're making progress, right? As long as each time is better than the previous time, we'll get through it. Okay. We're almost done with these shoulders. We've taken the thickness of that hood that goes around his neck, as we want that basically to disappear, because we're going to put something else around him, but it's going to be, you know, it's going to be different, so we don't want to cover one thing with the other. But, all right, let's try to get in here with this. Yeah, but now this quality should be good enough to go ahead and do unboxings. We could do unboxings live. We don't have to do all that editing. The problem with the editing is that if I have to edit a video, it takes time for me building stuff, working on stuff. And I don't like the editing part. I don't like the editing part because it takes a long time. I don't mind if this takes, like, this is like probably somebody watching this wondering, why the hell am I spending this much time on this? Well, I don't mind this because, you know, I don't have to do this again. After I'm done with this figure doesn't have to, doesn't automatically undo everything I just did to him. It's just, this one's complete, so. And this guy's going to be the centerpiece of the whole army. The first figure I have that's on a litter. And let's try using this. Shit, this is working better. That's working better. I don't think I'm going to have to do much more than that. All we did is just take the hood off of them. Let's clean this off. Now, I may have to take some of this head off. Let's leave him here for now. Let's do a little something here. Oh, that wasn't it. Let's do this here, and then we're going to open this up. not jump off to too many conclusions. I was going to show a picture of what I'm looking at. Let me open up a thing and go to Medieval Pope. And I don't want, that's strange that this is doing autofill. I usually don't, I disable all that stuff. I disable where it corrects your spelling and all that stuff. Yeah, so what I'm looking at is a guy that's going to be, I don't want it based necessarily on a certain person. Although an image like this, I'll just show you over here because I'm not smart enough to figure this out yet. You know, an image like this is kind of what I'm looking at. Where is the other one that comes up here? I'm not sure who that one is. That's Innocent the Fourth. Pope Innocent. That was Pope Innocent the Third. How about Pope Innocent the Fourth? What's he look like? Yeah, this guy here. Okay, so he's wearing like red robes, and he's got a white hat, definitely of some sort, and I like this. I want to put some straps around, I don't know exactly what the correct terminology is for it, but around his neck that dangle down. I'm going to put some crosses on there as well. So a white one with some black crosses to kind of tie everything in together. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of, you know, maybe some kind of a doodad like that. You know, something along the lines of that is what we're looking like for a hat. So it looks like the hat's got a little bit of sides, so we could probably take some of that hair off that's on him. You know, see this thing that's going around his neck? We'll want to do something like that. That'll be a separate piece on there. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at doing, so to speak. So unfortunately, I am a total noob when it comes to green stuff. So we're going to figure this stuff out as we go. Steven, how you doing? Hopefully you're enjoying the better resolution. There's a first for everything, and here we are. So, yeah, we've got this little hair that we need to have disappear. So, what else did we need to do? We'll do new robes over this, and we may just fudge them so we don't have to put the robes, for instance, over the arms. Let's see if we can get this to focus. There we go. But that's the idea. We want to go ahead and leave the cross here because we don't want to have to rebuild another one of those if we don't need to. And yeah, so let's go ahead and make sure none of this is protruding. We don't want him fat in the midsection necessarily. Well, we can do that on our own. Okay. And he's got some hair that's protruding here. We want to make sure we don't mess up his face because it is a nice face. But it looks like the hat is going to cover every little bit that he has around this hair. He's got kind of a Franciscan monk type hairdo thing. So let's take off some of this stuff here, because that won't be visible. Honestly, I don't know that I'm having better results with this than just an X-Acto knife. Okay, from the front, he has a little bit showing here. Yeah, let's take this thickness. We don't want his head to bulge right there. Oh, his little thing came off. Well, we'll just glue that back. No big deal. That's why I don't use super glue. Because if it had been epoxied down, that wouldn't have happened. All right, let's go ahead and super glue that thing back. I think we took enough of his head off. Enough of the side of his head off. Okay, what do you think of the new resolution there, Steve? Better? Better there, hopefully. What do we normally use this? This? Yeah. Looks better on my phone. So now you can see all the mistakes I do. More of them anyways. Yeah, I may have to do is get another light source here to brighten this up for you guys. But as I can see it, it's just, but this is set up for painting. That might actually not be a good idea. It might actually distract from what I'm doing. All right, so let's get our little super glue down and take this little tab and glue it on the top of his, I was gonna say pointy little head, but that's not really fair. His head's not pointy. And let's get, so we don't glue our fingers together. Not that it's that big a problem, but how the hell did it get to be almost 9? Yeah, damn work day tomorrow. I'm gonna ruin everything. All right, we're gonna take this. Stick it in the top of his head. Thought we were anyways. This is why I don't use super glue for anything. It's not reliable. No, decided I'm not going to use that. All right, let's mold a little helmet up there. Time flies, yeah. Probably shouldn't do this live because I'm a total noob. And they'll be saying, oh, well, Tony doesn't know how to use green stuff. Well, I claimed I never did. I never did. I've done very little things with it. I've made like a turban. For one figure, it turned out okay. It was just a turban. And we don't need very much. We'll probably have leftover stuff. Let's start work. Let's get enough to do part of his robes too. Okay. And somebody had said in the video to go ahead and take the center section out where it's already mixed, but I don't feel the need to have to do that. I do need to put this in a little container that's airtight, so I don't have to rebuy it. But it's not super expensive, so you know, I can be careless when something's, you know, not the end of the world. Good evening. Good Lord, it's so clear I can see the bit of spinach between the teeth on the guy on the right. There you go. Good. Finally. Hallelujah. Here, check out the monk that I painted the other day. I'm going to get one of those ring lights to bring some more light in here. Let's see, what if I turn the light? This light in this room sucks. I don't know that made a difference. I'm gonna get one of them cheap ring lights and put it over here. Get some extra lighting here. Like, I can see plenty good, but you know. We got him. How about the other guys? They're gonna go on the stand here. I was thinking about you today, Rick. My daughter's doing waffle bake or something tomorrow for school. It's volunteers. So I'm like, oh. She's like, you gonna make any waffles that are in the shape of like wizards or warriors or bard? You use UV sensitive resin, you can build layered helmets. That's too complicated. Darker background is good for contrast. Okay, good. Well, that's my shirt. I'm always wearing dark colored shirts, so. Black helps some of us look a little thinner. Although still, by rights, I'm gamer size medium. So, looks excellent as it is. Okay, well, cool. Anyhow. All right, so now, one thing I didn't know about this stuff is if you wet your hands a little bit, it doesn't stick to your hands. I figured the water would interfere with this stuff. What do I know? I'm a freaking noob. Resin is easier than it appears. I'm a painter, man. I just paint things. All right, so we're gonna. I showed you guys what I'm looking like for the helmet. Let's get all these little pieces of metal off here. That's the perfect distance for the camera. Okay, excellent. Like to show things being made. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's just see if you know if that's accurate. Let's give you a guy moon in you guys. Here we go. How's that look? How you like them cheeks? Yeah. And then we've got anyhow. Okay, good. Good, as long as things keep getting better and not worse. That's improved. Okay. All right, so we're gonna have a little something something here. Let's do something like this. Put this guy off to the side. We're gonna use that to do some robes. At least that's what I think we're gonna do. So let's just compare if this is about the size, right size for a hat. I may need a little bit more. Well, the nice thing is this is very forgiving. It's not like this is going to dry in 5 minutes and I got to hurry up and do this, you know? Let's get this a little incorrigible. Okay, it's pointy, but it's not that pointy. Now what I may actually have to do is wait a little bit for it to harden. Although Sunday night is probably not the best idea to do it because, you know, it's already 9 o'clock and, you know, it's a damn work day tomorrow, unfortunately. Let me just check for size. Now, something I've had a long time, and I've never used them. I could probably use some of these silicone brushes for it too. Let's see. We got this stuff. To use it, Let's see what happens. Let's put some water on it. Let's get a piece of paper towel here so we have it handy. I have this army that is from an earlier period of the list. Aha. Probably when they fought the Normans. Yeah, I want to do Frederick II and this guy, so. Let's see with these silicone brushes, what can I do with this stuff? Well, I can. Okay, that's actually real easy to get in there and do that. Okay, cool. I think it's too much material. Let's take off a tiny little bit. Let's take off, say, that much. Put this back with a regular. And let's get this into the hat shape as well. And I may have to cut his head's probably is pretty flat. So I may have to cut his head down to so it's flat. I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to push it down so it goes over the edge of him. And I believe it's a little lower in the back. Let me get to that picture that I had. Yeah, it looks like it's a little lower in the back. All right. Tiny little bit. Well, this is one thing to keep your fingers from sticking to it. You use stuff like this so you don't have to worry about it. All right, so we got a little bit too much material here. So let's come in here and just take a little bit off. We'll add that to the other stuff later. All right. Now, how are we looking at this? Okay, that side's actually looking pretty good. And now, it does go to a tip, but it's kind of fatter towards the bottom than it is towards the top. This screen here. Which one of these is it? I'm not sure it's that one. That's not it. There we go. Your hands are hairier than I realized. That's a lot coming from a Greek. Yeah, and the other thing is this camera, it went up in resolution, and also the picture got a lot tighter. And I know there's a way I can adjust that if I need to, but it probably needs to be kind of loving the high def. Excellent. Isn't there a cloth that hangs down in the back, split in the middle? Yes. We'll have to do that later. Yep. That's a separate process, so. That is a separate process. Well, so far this silicone brush thing works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. I did not know that I needed to keep them wet to keep them from sticking. You know, it's my first rodeo with this, so. Yeah, there's gonna be little straps and stuff. All right, so we're okay on the front. I think it might be a little thick. Well, no reason we can't wet the X-Acto knife. We'll get the bottom where it needs to be, and then we'll work our way up. I think that might be the way to do this. Well, good. I'm glad this worked somewhat all right, because now I can start watching how to add things in OBS, which there are a freaking plethora of videos on. But you know, I mean, I couldn't even get the phone. The phone right now is connected USB through the computer, and I was doing that, and they couldn't talk to each other. So it took me a couple hours to figure out how to do that, and you know, yeah. All right, let's start pointing this up. Have a round one. Yeah, let's try this one. That's what we don't want. We don't want a piece of static grass mixed in there. I even cleaned this area, but one of them found its way through here. Yeah, see, I knew this was going to take forever, so the fact that it is doesn't really bother me that much. And you have a lot of time to work on this. There we go. All right, as we were. this is where we're at right here. We're getting there. It's a little taller than I want it to be. So I think what we're going to do is, there's no metal thing in there now, so we're going to go ahead and take about that much off. Okay. And let's just mess with this and then see if we need to take a little bit more off. I think we need to take a little bit more off. Say that much more off. All right, now let's mold this preliminary. Okay, now we got a more reasonable type thing. Okay, because it's similar to this particular figure. Okay, as a matter of fact, this guy could probably pass as a pope. But if you look all the way to the back, he's got a hood, and the hoods aren't supposed, and the popes aren't supposed to have hoods. So, anyhow. Only thing I've used this stuff for before is make little cannonballs. I painted the turban on my Carriage General. I literally kept his helmet. I just added a turban around it. And what else did I do? I don't think I've done much more other than that. Oh, I put a cape on a Norman knight. That's it. That's all I've done with this stuff. So, hopefully as the future goes on, I will be making more different things. But yeah, he's gonna have little straps and on that. We just want to get the shape on here. We're actually going to cut a little around the bottom there so that we can paint that. This looks to be about the correct size. About the correct size. I would have thought having a wet thing touching this would have been disastrous. But what do I know, right? Man, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. Now he's gonna have little straps and stuff that come off of him. You know what? I'm probably gonna have to glue this guy down to a penny at some point, just so I can work on his robes. So, filling cracks on elephant figures. Really? I've never used this stuff for that. I've used regular other putty. Yeah, let's mess with it a little bit more. And I'm not going to glue them on a penny. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Except I put all this stuff away like a dingbat. See if I can find it here. This is one of these quirks that I have with this. And then when you get some of the stickum stuff, I think this is called, I can never remember what this stuff is. It's what you use to like stick posters to the walls. And what we're going to do is, this is probably too big a piece. Might be too much. material. It's good for filling imperfect molding. That's the manufacturer's job, to make figures that don't look like crap. That's their responsibility. Okay. Now we should be able to work on them. All right. This might be too soon at this point. All right. Let's look at it. What? A damn touch part of them when I shouldn't have. That's all right. That's probably part of my fingernail or something that cut into them. We'll glue him on in a second. We need to be a little bit more careful with that. I might just have to just do his hat and then just call it a day. You know, just do the other parts in different sections. Okay, it looks good from the front. Looks good from that side. It's okay from that side. Now, what I want to do, and I may not be able to do this right now. I may have to wait until it's completely drier or something like that. Let's see, how thick is this? I want to put a little band along the bottom of it. It doesn't have to be very deep, because we can always paint that little band. So we know this guy's little hat is going to be white. So we wanted to make sure this assistant guy did not have a white hat. Because it is a pretty big band in some of these pictures. Okay. I think we're going to have to let this guy, his hat, just dry before we do other steps to it. Because I don't want to mismold and screw up the shape of it while I'm doing that. Now, let's mess a little bit with this stuff here. let's take that suggestion somebody had. We got lots of these hotel key cards. Thank you, Hilton. And we're going to thin this stuff down. So this is totally new territory for me. So I'm going to have to make some mistakes. I'm not going to be the best person out there for this, or not even close. Why is there a little hard spot on that? Is that perhaps the section where the two were together? Okay, we'll just take that out. I wonder if that's what that was. Can I pull this stuff off now? No, that didn't work. That wasn't worth the damn. All right. I need to put even more water on it. Old dogs and new tricks. You know, figured out. It's not going to look perfect. You know. I had water in my hands. Still didn't matter. All right. This is starting to look closer to what we need to do. All right. Let's take lots of water there. All right. Now, how tall is this guy? What shapes do we have here? Uh-huh. Okay. So we got this robe here. It's going around his neck. And I may not be able to get away with doing this because it looks like I'm like precariously close to mismolding his hat. It doesn't have enough indentation to it. These things are supposedly good for fading fading it down to nothing. Okay, yeah, we're not going to be able to mess with this anymore. We need to get this hat set where it is, or I'm going to be refixing it every time. So it's going to be a multi-night operation to get this guy where we need him to. Now, I can probably leave this stuff that I've already done on him and just add to it. So we're going to leave this part of the robe on the back, but we will continue with this guy on another night after his helmet is already dried and everything. So, yeah, paint and shading to give depth and detail. Yeah, I can do that. That's what I do. So let's go ahead and put him up here. And we've got some of the robes on there, but this is basically how I'm going to have to build it up all the way around. Then when I'm done with the robe all the way covering, because we don't want this little center like braid that he has here, like a belt, we don't want that showing. It's going to be all in one robe. We'll probably use the same arms here. So in other words, we're going to fade this green into the arm. We don't need to give him a robe that goes all the way to the edge of his arms here. Do the front as well, and then we're going to do a thin strip that goes, you know, maybe about like this wide, all the way on either side of his neck, that goes around the back, and it's going to be sitting on the outside, and I'll end up painting little crosses on it, like that one particular thing. But you know, that's the problem, is I keep doing this. I'm going to accidentally touch his freaking helmet, I guess yeah, and that's going to be an issue. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is we're going to stop, and in the morning, I'm not going to mess with it now. When this helmet is kind of hard, I'm going to go ahead and super glue him on here, because that way we can mold the rest of his robes while he's sitting like this. Okay, we're going to need to do that. So that's at least what the plan is. But anyhow, I'm glad the feed worked out well. And of course, this little bit will have to go to waste, but you know, that's just one of those things. But anyhow, I'm glad the feed worked out well, and we've got some resolution now that we can. Well, you need to stand up on the job here, dude. All right. And we need to finish this guy completely before we decide what we're going to do with this one, because he definitely needs to be the Pope, and he needs to look like an assistant. So, like I mentioned in the feed the other day, it may end up being a situation where this guy in particular, I may have to dumb him down and make him look a little bit more like, say, the monk, so that you can tell that he's definitely not the guy that's in charge. I don't know if he needs to be all brown, but he definitely doesn't need to steal any of the Pope's thunder. So, anyhow, thanks for stopping by, and it looks like we made some progress here on how to do that. And the next video hopefully will be better. We'll put some graphics on there, maybe something like that. I've seen what other people do with this OBS stuff, and there's a lot of things you can do. This is day one, so anyhow, well, until next time. He's falling down on the job. Thanks for coming by, and we'll catch you guys next time. And enjoy the little amount of time before the work week, because it's getting towards the tail end here. But anyhow, see you guys in a couple days. And make sure we know how to sign off of this thing.